Good morning. Hello. Good morning. I'm Jordan Dove. It's Friday, November 19th, 2021. It's Friday. We made it through another week. So glad you could join us today. All right, 10-year Treasury bond yield 1.534%, slight downtick from yesterday. 30-year fixed mortgage 3.24%, national average, slight downtick. I want to give a shout out to a guy on YouTube. He's a neuroscientist. His name is Andrew Huberman. Unbelievable stuff. You should go check out his work. He recently was on a podcast I listened to, My First Million entrepreneurial podcast. Those guys are great. And he had said something about when you wake up in the morning, get the lights on as soon as possible. But what he really recommended was go outside for 5 minutes before you do anything, before you get any caffeine, any coffee, and let the light hit your eyes. Don't look directly into the sun, of course, but allow that sunlight when the sun rises in the morning to get into your eyes. And I've been doing that the last 5 days, and let me tell you, I feel so good and so great and so refreshed. So try it. Thought you should try it. All right, we're going to talk about some really interesting things today. A lot of you have asked for a national market update. Some of you have asked for a Southern Nevada and Las Vegas market real estate update, and I'm going to do both today. A lot of you and a lot of people seem to speculate that as interest rates get higher and mortgage interest rates get higher, that the home values start to come down, and that's not true. Because if you look, it's not always true. Because if you look back to 2016, 17, 18, 19, guys, we had clients who were getting par rates in the fours, sometimes low fives, depending on their credit, but we saw a lot in the mid to high four range. And during those years, did housing come down? Did the prices come down? No, they didn't. They continued to appreciate slightly above the average annual rate or at the annual rate, okay? So higher interest rates does not mean that home prices are going to come down. There's a flood of money out there, and as long as people are taking advantage of that money, and we have our inventory issues, which we're going to talk about very shortly, we still believe, in my opinion, that home prices are going to continue to appreciate. But now those clients that we had are pretty smart because they refinanced when rates were hitting the twos earlier this year and last year, and now they're saving money every month and enjoy the appreciation from when they purchased their home just a few years ago. And as we know, if you watched yesterday's video, the last 50 years, homes have appreciated an average of 5%. And that includes periods of inflation and deflation. And deflation is what the Fed is really afraid of, okay? But even through all the nonsense, even through the subprime loans that were sold to large commercial investors in pools of mortgages known as mortgage-backed securities, or MBS, with the stamp of approval from their buddies at the credit bureaus that caused the meltdown in 2008, the market has recovered. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys my opinion on the national market update and my local Southern Nevada market update. This is my opinion based on the data that's available from the Fed and the National Association of Realtors. This is my opinion based on these two data points. And it's interesting because both their data is different. And I find this very, very interesting. And you should too. It makes me wonder, is maybe some of the numbers being manipulated somewhere? I don't know. You can make that opinion for yourself. But everyone is talking about a shortage of inventory. Low inventory this, low inventory that. Now that is true in some markets, especially in places like Las Vegas, Phoenix, Austin, Orlando, Florida, places in Idaho, lots of places around the country where the migration patterns, where you see people moving out of states like California and going to other states and other cities that are growing, you were seeing a really big shortage there. But nationally, it's really interesting because the Fed reports a different number than the National Association of Realtors. So let's look at this from a national perspective. With everyone talking about inventory, I'm going to show you guys the proper way to measure the rate at which homes are sold in a specific market during a given time period. It's called the absorption rate. Absorption rate. Stop talking about inventory and look at the absorption rate. Again, the absorption rate is a metric used in the real estate market to evaluate the rate at which homes are sold in a specific market during a given time period. The higher the rate of the absorption, the faster homes are selling. One of the markers we look at is an absorption rate above 20% indicates and signals that there is a seller's market. And an absorption rate below 15% is an indicator of a buyer's market. This is how I and real estate professionals will measure the true demand. They're not going to look at inventory, month of supply. They're going to look at the actual absorption rate. And to calculate the absorption rate, guys, you divide, it's a very simple equation. You divide the number of homes sold in the allotted time, the last 30 days, 6 months, 1 year, whatever. I use the last 30 days because that gives us a real accurate snapshot of what's going on. But to calculate the absorption rate, you divide the number of homes sold in the allotted time period by the same number of available homes in that same time period. Okay, so let's talk about some data. According to the NAR data, which is the National Association of Realtors, in September, there were a total of 548,000 home sales that closed and recorded with an inventory of 1,270,000. Again, these numbers are according to NAR, or the National Association of Realtors. So what we're going to do to calculate the national absorption rate figure for that month of September, because that's the most recent data we have, we're still waiting on October, we're going to divide that 548 divided by that 1.27 million, which is the absorption rate of 43.15%, which signals we are still in a very strong seller's market. The National Association of Realtors is reporting a 2.4 month supply inventory of homes. But I want to go back to the madness, the absolute madness that was June and July of this past summer, 2021, where in our market we were seeing 20, 30, 40 offers on homes. It was just nuts. Insane. So I wanted to go back to the national numbers of June and July and look at those absorption rate figures. And I ran those numbers. So in June of 2021, there were 615,000 sales with 1.23 million homes available, which is a 50% market absorption rate. Okay, really, really high. July 2021 had 584,000 sales with 1.28 million homes of available inventory, which calculated the absorption rate of 45.625%. So down from 50% in June to 46 and a little over 0.5% in July. Now you can see with the recent data from September to 43.15%, we can see that trend is starting to come down. But still, with 20% being the marker of a seller's market, we are still in a strong seller's market. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. I want you guys, and I'm going to leave links for everybody in the description of this YouTube channel so you can go check this data for yourself. I was kind of appalled when I looked at the Fed numbers and compared them to the NAR numbers. And what's interesting is I'm going to put up a chart for you guys. As of September 2021, we have 5.7 months of inventory. 5.7 months of national inventory. Now, 6 months has always been considered as the status quo, an even buyers and sellers market. That's the status quo, but personally in my opinion, I tend to believe that 4 to 5 months is more considered an even market. And the reason why is because they revise the number of years that people stay in their home. The average life of a mortgage was 5 years before people sold their home. But now with generational living and with people staying in their homes longer and rather putting their money into renovating their homes and adding space or upgrading it or whatever, that number has been revised to people staying in their home for 10 years on average, up from the 5 years previously. So in my opinion, I think 4 to 5 months is more of an even market versus the 6 months, okay? But what does that all mean? You make the decision. As of October 31st, 2021, there was 636,606 active listings nationally. Again, here's some interesting numbers as well. So the median sales price of homes nationally as of quarter 3, 2021 are $404,700. That's according to the Fed. However, according to the NAR, the median sales price as of September 2021 is $372,600. And in the Northeast, they are putting a median price at 394,000 in the Northeast. In the Midwest, 290,700. The South has a median price of 355,000, and the West has a median price of $499,100, giving you that national average of 372,600. So that's interesting. The Fed is saying 404,000 median price nationally. NAR is saying 372. NAR is saying our inventory is this low as 2.4 months supply. The Fed's saying 5.7 months. What is it? Are the numbers being made up? I don't know. This is the publicly available data. I think the numbers are way off, and it's pretty interesting. I'd like for you guys to let me know what you think of this in the comments. Please give me your feedback. I'd love to hear what you think. Okay, now let's get into my market, Las Vegas, Southern Nevada market update. Some of you guys have asked questions about this, so I'm going to give you the absorption rate for Southern Nevada. I just ran the calculation this morning. As of this morning today, Friday, November 19th, there is 4,614 properties on the market. This includes single families, townhomes, condos, manufactured housing, high-rises, and multiple family dwellings. Over the last 30 days, all of those categories sold has been 4,324 properties sold. So the total properties the last 30 days has been 8,938 between sold and active, and divide that by the total sold over the same time period of 4,324. Our market has an absorption rate figure of 48.37%, which is still an extremely strong seller's market in my opinion. Okay, the median closing price of homes in Southern Nevada for the month of October 2021 is $410,000, just above the national average of $404,700, according to NAR, of course, or $372,600, which is the data from the Fed. So either way you look at it, our median price is above the national average, but there's big fluctuations between the Fed and NAR. So as of October, Las Vegas Realtors is reporting a 1.1 month supply of inventory, which is negative 1% versus the prior month, and versus the prior year, that's negative 23.5%. So our inventory is pretty low. We still have a lot of buyer demand. If you guys saw my video on why Wall Street is pricing you out of the housing market, why they're trying to get rid of you, It's unbelievable what's happening. But I recently received this email of a cash buyer in our market, and I know who's representing them. Really good agent, really, really good. But I thought this was interesting. I thought you should know about this. So there's a company called Progress Residential, and in Southern Nevada, they own over 2,000 residential properties that are all rentals. And now they're going on a tear. They want to purchase as many single families as possible, all cash, for under $425,000. Remember, our median price is $410,000, so they're going for those median priced homes and below. They have a few contingencies on what they're looking for. No solar panels. They will not buy a home with solar panels, so think about that. Minimum 3 bedrooms, 2 baths with a 2-car garage. The home must be built after 1980. They also are not purchasing any homes with pools or spas. Also, one of the contingencies is no rental restrictions or age restrictions. But some of the things that they are waiving, because they're cash buyers, is no financing because it's cash, or other financing contingencies, no concessions requested, or a home warranty, which are typically things when you do your due diligence and your inspections, you'll ask the seller to repair items that affect the value of the home. They're also waiving the appraisal because it's cash. So it makes me question that those mom and pop landlords who got massacred, absolutely massacred during COVID with non-paying tenants due to the eviction moratorium. And I understand that there were people who really struggled and lost their jobs, and those people you should absolutely have been helped and got assistance from the government. But there is also people who took advantage of the system, and I believe that many of these landlords got screwed by people who were taking advantage of the system, because the only things that were available to the homeowners was a forbearance program to push their balance back, or pay it due in full in 6 months, or put it on the back end of their loan. How come they were not just given a free pass and say, hey, you don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months or a year? In this case, it was almost 2 years, the moratorium. Kind of fishy, don't you think? So what that makes me believe is that maybe they're trying to force out the middle class mom and pop owners. I think it was a ploy to force them out of the rental game so that Wall Street, like I talked about in a previous video, can come swoop in the properties with their bottomless pits of cash that is printed out of thin air by typing in zeros into the system, into the Fed computer system, adding some zeros, and it just gets transferred to a bank account somewhere. The money doesn't even really exist, but you can go listen to Greg Manarino about all that. But it really makes you wonder, what is the end game for the middle class, for the powers that be? Okay, sorry, this one was a little bit longer, but I thought there was a lot of important information that you should know. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys enter our raffle, jordandove.com/raffle. We are giving away $250 to somebody to help out with their holiday shopping this year. All you got to do is go enter your information. jordandove.com/raffle. Everyone have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know what you guys think about the numbers between the Fed and the National Association of Realtors. I think the Fed's using more public data. NAR is only using MLS data. Which one is more accurate? You let me know what you guys think. Have a great day.